I don't want him here. I've made that clear. I don't feel like Aaron Rodgers is the best fit for this team at this time, but I also don't exactly have a vote on it. What about those who might? Good morning to you. Good Tuesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Steelers. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into hockey and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of Penguins and Pirates in the same place that you found this. The latest from TMZ, and that's a pretty good starting point for an Aaron Rodgers update, is that he was spotted at a concert for the rapper who goes by Mike. This was in Austin, Texas, and at some point in the set, he got his hands on a water gun and was squirting at the rapper or blasting water into the crowd off stage. And yes, I'm reading, as the artist performed his hit, I Don't Want to Party. He also, and the TMZ report makes this sound like a big deal, was sporting some kind of finger on his left hand or a band that first debuted during Kentucky Derby weekend, that's raising speculation as to whether or not he is hitched. One of his old teammates claims to be left in the dark as to what the ring meant. This what you guys want? This what everybody wants? This? I mean, I could also mention that he is still, Rodgers, openly undecided and ambivalent, not just about the Steelers, but whether or not he even wants to play. Of the 3 Rodgers-related headlines that are here on TMZ, right below the one that says, Aaron Rodgers spotted without ring amid marriage speculation, and there's a big red circle around the ring. The next one says, Aaron Rodgers says retirement is an option as he considers NFL future, and the one after that says, Aaron Rodgers gives wish list for next NFL team. That, you want to bring that in just after sending George Pickens and most of the drama out? That's what you want? Listen, again, what you want, what I want, doesn't matter. What I wonder is whether or not this is something that anybody inside the Steelers world wants other than Mike Tomlin, because we all know how that goes. Tomlin pushes for something, he gets a lot of pushback, he gets his way, and then, in the event that it becomes the case or even looks good, then he can boast about it and let everybody know how much money he makes in the process. But I'm going to tell you this right now. This circumstance isn't all that different than the one I just described. Rodgers is obviously an infinitely bigger name, but the circumstance, that's pretty much the same. Everything that I understand from within the Steelers is that this is principally, if not primarily, a Tomlin initiative. And it really doesn't take a whole lot of detective work to figure that out on your own. Every time Rodgers is quoted related to the Steelers, he always says he's in touch with Mike. I'm in touch with Mike. Mike and I are communicating. And unless he's referring to the aforementioned rapper, I'm going to assume that's Tomlin, but not Omar Khan. What's more, as I've laid out for you previously, and I'm not breaking any news here, the players believe in Mason Rudolph. They felt that way before what happened near the end of the 2023 season. The ones who are still here from that roster, and that's most of them, feel the same way now. In fact, the only difference is that they've got something with which to support the cause more tangibly. Beyond that, elsewhere in the building, there is a feel that Rudolph would be a really good fit for what it is that the Steelers hope to do. They're not looking for spectacular cape-wearing quarterback play. Not that you would get that out of somebody who's going to turn 42 this season anyway. They're looking for someone to be reliable, disciplined in himself and related to those around him, vocal, demonstrative, and effective in leadership, and from there, of course, to make the reads that need to be made and to make the passes that then need to be made. And there are those in there who feel that that quarterback is already in the building. Whereas there's one individual who's clinging to this dream, this fantasy. That's what it is. That's what it is. The same thing, at the risk of repeating myself, that he engaged in as it related to Russell Wilson. Ooh, Russell Wilson. He's dreamy. Admired him from afar. Watched him win the Super Bowl. Didn't matter how long ago. It's the same starstruck nonsense here. But I also feel like there's more to it. Tomlin went through most of his head coaching career in Pittsburgh with one quarterback, and he never had to deal really at all with the quarterback position, only the most important position on the roster. There's no one who's ever played for him who will tell you that he's good with quarterbacks. Why? Because he really doesn't want to be. He would rather just have someone come in who he sees as a capable, knowledgeable, big-time veteran who just handles stuff. Just handle stuff. Let me worry about the defense. You do your quarterback thing. I'll see you on Sunday. I'm not guessing at this. I've been told this. So Rodgers, like Wilson, represents all of that to him. And it's going to override everything else up to and including Rudolph. Why? Yet again, going to get down to the individual and the personality, because a lot of that does influence his decisions. We've seen that. That's not even a criticism. That's just a fact. The same way that all through Rudolph's surge there, that carried the Steelers into the playoffs in the 2023 season, the one thing that Tomlin would not let go was this idea that Rudolph could have been the right choice all along. Why? Because he'd have to acknowledge that he was wrong. Even though he really wouldn't have, he thought that he'd have to, and that was plenty enough. No, seriously, think about it from just this specific perspective. The other two quarterbacks at that time were Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky, and Tomlin still couldn't bring himself to suggest that Rudolph might have been the best guy, the best choice all along. Why? Because he entered that season with Rudolph at number 3. That's on him. My friends, when I put forth after this past season that the Steelers would become a stronger organization if they made a change at head coach, it was not a disrespect thing for Tomlin. It wasn't taking sides in the various social media debates on the subject or anything of that kind. It was this. It was exactly this. It was this practice of valuing being right over what's best for the football team. No one, anywhere, no one is ever right all the time. And it's only when you think you are that you're in trouble. When we come back, J1Q.
This segment of Daily Shot is brought to you by our good friends at Mike's Beer Bar. They're located on Federal Street, directly across from PNC Park. Mike has more than 500 beers on tap, including from more than 50 local breweries. Stop in and say hello. Tell Mike we sent you. Mike's Beer Bar. Today's J1Q comes from Kyle Mundy, who says, DK, I'd like to know why Alex Highsmith has looked so average ever since his big contract extension. I would prefer Nick Herbig over there. Well, I got a couple of ways to answer this, Kyle, without just accepting your premise, okay? Meaning I'm going to challenge the premise at least a little bit here. The first part is this. Highsmith has always been the type of outside linebacker who's more, I'm going to get literal with the terminology here, outside linebacker than he is edge rusher. TJ Watt puts a hand down and goes after the quarterback. He can do more, and he has done more, but that's usually the script on his side. Whereas Highsmith's strengths have always been his overall dependability. And I wouldn't suggest here at all that he has declined in terms of overall dependability. His number of tackles, for example, his past 4 seasons have been 74, 63, 57, 45. Now, the 45 is obviously low, but he missed 6 games this past season. I could very much see a scenario in which if he played the other 6 games, he would have had a career high in tackles. His sack totals have gone from 14.5, the number everybody remembers because that was the one that got him paid, to 7 to 6 this past season. So here again, if he plays 6 more games, does he get another 3 or 4 sacks? Yeah, that would still be the second highest of his career. And repeating myself, he wouldn't be that guy chasing sacks anyway. Now, where this really works in your favor of your argument is simple splash. Sacks are splash. Forced fumbles are splash. He had 5 in that big year, and then 2, and then 1. He had a couple of interceptions in 2023, one of those for a touchdown. That's mega splash right there. But I guess the other way that you could look at this is what happened when he went out, or what happened when he came back, which might have been too soon, as is almost always the case within the short NFL regular season. Everybody ran that way, and everybody ran that way with ease. Look, I love Herbig. I love the splash that he brings. But he, the kid himself, would be the first to tell you, and I know this because he's told me many times, he has to be able to do everything. He idolizes Highsmith because that's his side of the field, and he knows he needs to perform up to Highsmith's level, not because Highsmith's older and the respect factor and everything, because Highsmith is a more complete player. If you want to go over whether or not the Steelers overpaid to keep Highsmith, that's always a fair discussion and debate to have. 4 years and $68 million is a big investment, but it's also been a sound investment. Highsmith certainly hasn't let anybody down. I appreciate the question. It's a good subject to bring up. It is. I by no means at all dismissing it. You asked it in a way that suggested that Herbig should replace him, and there's nobody in there that feels that way. And I don't either. Today at 4 p.m., we'll be doing another Double Shot show. That's our live video that we do on our YouTube channel and, of course, on our own DK Pittsburgh Sports app and website. Hope to have you there.